Hi, I'm Laurie Brown. Thanks for loading up this episode of Pondercast. We are an independent podcast, which means no one tells us what to do, and no one pays us to create this work. We are working without a net, but we are building one through our listeners' support. Using Patreon, we are asking for a small monthly payment to show your appreciation for our work and to keep us moving forward. And if that sounds like a fair deal to you, go to patreon.com/pondercast and become a much-loved patron. Joshua, Ty, and I thank you. Now, let's Pondercast. Joshua and I did our first live online show, and it was technically a bit stressful, but ultimately fun. I'm trying to figure out how to soften Zoom's digital bite and figure out how far I can stretch it from being a business tool to a creative one. And we had some successes, and we had an online campfire, which was awesome. Thanks to those of you who bought a ticket and were part of our first experiment. There will be more to come. That is a threat. This episode starts at 4:46 a.m. And I'm up. And I'm happy about it. This is a new occurrence, to wake up this early and be excited about it. It's like staying up really late, but I'm energized from sleep and clear-headed. At 4:46 a.m., I am an outlier, an anomaly walking around my apartment in the dark. The night owls have packed it in. They miss this underused moment, this fresh catch of the day. I face the weak glow of the eastern sky and settle in to watch its creep. The quiet is thick and luxurious. No stragglers returning home, no cars starting up and leaving. This felted quiet holds back the day. Birds still asleep. Their song has yet to poke holes in the silence. It's just me sitting in a dark room, looking east, like a party host waiting for the first guest. I open all the windows, even in this heat wave, for the pre-dawn air is cleaner and cooler and undisturbed. I search the dark apartments across the street, looking for movement, a shadow crossing a window, or a figure in a nightshirt, holding a mug, looking out, a mirror image looking back at me. But I see no one. Hold them to their beds a bit longer. Let me have this moment. Let that cool pink glow come my way. Let me be the first to see what's next. I wonder why so much of what Pondercast releases into the world is, what's the word, serious? Loaded with big feeling? I ask myself the question, why do these stories fall towards sadness or darkness? Because there is weight there. There is deep feeling. We spend a lot of time in those places in our lives, and that time is largely spent alone in our heads, turning over sadness, warming it on all sides, taking it to heart. Because we never lose the memory of our dark times. Our bodies hold it for us, even in happiness, which seems to come to us as if in relief. We bring out our past trouble and hold it next to our happiness. Why? In order to soften it, to pull it closer to the light. Because we live with darkness and light. Do most people swing between the two? Is holding them both together weird? I don't know, but I carry both together. And if it seems a shame to bring the dark into the light moments, like some ancient Stoic, continually reminding myself of the fleeting nature of joy, there is a payoff. To be able to bring light to darkness is a salvation. We push away hard feelings, and our constant turning away is exhausting. Let the dark and light swim together and watch sorrow float. Now that we are emerging back into the world, we now know the experience of going to ground. We dove into our burrows like a hunted animal. But now it's time to recover our above-ground life, and it's so different than the one we left. Feeling grounded is knowing the place where you are. Whether it's where you want to be or not, doesn't matter. It's seeing what's truly going on. And that is the foundation that you push off from when you feel grounded. But there's not a lot of that going around right now. Do you trust the ground beneath your feet right now? Or are you walking through your days like you are on ice, tentative, arms out, ready to have your feet fly out from underneath you? Finding our feet again is courageous work because it means having to face the truths of this new world. To be grounded is to have both feet planted in the real world, and we each have to figure out what this new real world is made of. The temptation to retreat, to not want to venture out, is real. We're not going to like a lot of what we see, and we're not going to want to include those things in the construction of our new foundational ground. But being anything less than truthful will only produce a false floor, ready to collapse the moment you need it most. So heading out into the world again is work. Each step is tentative. Every new kind of outing is like a fact-finding expedition. And what you find to be true in these adventures is what will build firm ground. Like learning to skate. Remember learning how to first stand on the ice, then walk in skates on the ice, and then finally pushing off and gliding, the amazing feeling of understanding how ice worked. It's time to lace up your skates, get to know what's under your feet again, find your ground. When I hear the phrase, "when we return to normal," it always makes me cringe because there was so much about the old normal that was broken and needed to change. But the further along that we get in this great turning moment, I am feeling the urge for a return. When we say we want to return to normal, what we are really wanting, I think, is a return to ourselves, the you before all this. The you that moved with ease through your city, through your day. The you that had an easy confidence about your job, about dealing with your kids. The you that experienced moments of peace and joy. A you that had a lightness, a curiosity, a sense of wonder. Do you remember that you? Where has that person gone? And how do you ask them back? I picture the you that has disappeared out there in the ether somewhere, looking down and wondering if it's safe to return. And if you take stock of yourself, would you say that you are a safe place to return to? My taking stock of myself says no. I'm filled with anxiety and worst-case scenarios. I have stockpiled grief for months, not daring to let it out for fear it will undo me when I still need to remain vigilant, or at least I think I need to. I sense the risk of everything. We have been living in survivor mode for a long time now, and it's not our best look. Feeling helpless and hopeless are debilitating. When we experience trauma or loss or big change in our life, and we all have varying degrees of all of those, loss, change, and trauma during COVID, we find ourselves acting and saying and doing things we never thought we would. That's survivor mode, and it's not a safe place for you to return to. So this is the work now, not a return to normal, but a return to yourself, putting the you back in you. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It means recognizing what needs to be tossed out to make space for a homecoming. It's not return to normal. It's a soul retrieval that we yearn for. Our work is to make the house ready, to set the table, and invite ourselves back home. We should have known 2020 was going to be brutal. Watching the fires in Australia at the beginning of the year, it looked like an apocalypse. And then things got worse. Floods, pandemic, killer hornets. The whole world shut down. That's new. End of the world, end of the world. I think we've all had moments where we felt that and said it to ourselves. That is one meaning of the word apocalypse, end of the world, the end of everything. But here's the thing. Apocalypse as a word has a plural. There can be apocalypses. Apocalypse has 3 Greek words at its base, and it means to uncover or reveal. You can also use the word revelation in place of apocalypse. An apocalypse occurs when we are suddenly made to see what is going on. What was once hidden is now revealed. I say 2020 is indeed worthy of the word apocalypse. It has been revealed to us how we are connected to each other in ways we have never truly embraced. Relationships that were hidden are coming into view. We can see the true order of things. The way our economy has fallen apart is showing us where it fails us. We are seeing the vulnerable among us in a striking new way. How else to explain this sudden solidarity we feel with the people who are normally invisible? The cleaners, the grocery store workers, the nurses, all the frontline workers. How else to explain why, after all the times before that the Black community and Black Lives Matter tried to get our attention and failed, it got through to us this time? Because we're finally seeing each other. So much has been revealed, it's impossible to go back to how things were before. Because we see it now. In the middle of all the fear of the virus, with the masks, the washing of hands, the lockdown, the change in our work, we are all having profound moral realizations about the way we live. And many of us are uncomfortable with our past complacency, the way we looked the other way. I, for one, welcome this apocalypse, and I am looking forward to more apocalypses to show us more about how deeply we are connected to each other. We can't unsee what we have seen. It makes me wonder what else we need to be shown. What else are we missing?